Welcome back to the deep dive. Today we are really getting into the nitty-gritty of high fashion. Specifically, we're decoding the luxury fashion trends that look set to define 2025. We've gathered quite a bit of material, runway analysis, consumer reports, forecasting data, and it all points to something bigger than just seasonal changes. Luxury seems to be undergoing this, well, foundational shift. A philosophical one almost.
That really is the core of it, isn't it? Our sources are definitely confirming that. 2025 seems to be the year where true luxury gets defined by intentionality. It's moving beyond just being expensive. It's deliberately mixing cutting-edge innovation with, deep craftsmanship and, frankly, radical individuality. So for you listening today, this shift means that every investment piece, it tells a very specific, a very detailed story.
Okay, so if you're looking to stay ahead, or maybe you just want to understand the sort of art and economics behind these really coveted collections,
Yeah.
what's our mission today? What are we trying to nail down?
Our mission really is to pull out those core shifts, the things that define high-end style right now. We need to focus on how that definition of luxury is becoming more intentional, less about just, excess. We'll unpack that blend of heritage and tech. We'll try to understand the pretty dramatic shifts in shapes, in silhouettes, and color palettes too. And crucially, we have to get into the rise of ethical and digital luxury. That's not optional anymore.
Right. And if this sounds like, oh, we've heard this before, wait till we get into the specifics. We'll be showing how quiet luxury, that whole vibe, has kind of grown up into something more expressive. And we'll analyze that dramatic return of really architectural shapes, the kind that redefine personal power. So let's just jump right in.
Let's do it.
Okay, first big idea. The source material calls it the fusion point. And it seems to deal with the actual, DNA of the garment itself. Trend one. Heritage craftsmanship meets modern innovation.
Yes, and this is so critical because it tackles that contradiction that's always been inherent in luxury, right? How do you honor these sometimes centuries-old artisanal techniques,
Yeah.
but stay completely modern?
Right. How do you both?
Exactly. And the core idea for 2025 is, well, you can't have one without the other anymore. It's a deeper connection. It's synergistic. Traditional roots meet cutting-edge tech.
You used a great phrase earlier, timeless yet forward-looking. What are some specific examples our sources give? Things that really show that tension between, say, the skill of the hand and the precision of a machine.
Well, take structured tailoring. That's a good starting point.
Yeah.
You might have a piece inspired by a vintage cut, maybe something from the 50s, that classic defined shoulder and nipped waist.
Yeah, classic shape.
But the fabric, that's where the innovation comes in. We're
Mm.
seeing these proprietary blends now incorporating performance textiles. Maybe they offer wrinkle resistance or materials that are incredibly light but still give amazing structure. So the garment holds its shape perfectly for decades, potentially.
So it's not just a beautiful blazer. It's like a tech marvel designed for longevity.
Precisely. And then you look at true couture, and the contrast is even more deliberate, very intentional. Our sources highlight this tension between, say, hand embroidery and laser precision.
Okay.
Imagine delicate gold work embroidery, right? A technique passed down generations, but it's contrasted directly against geometric patterns that are etched or cut by high-precision lasers.
Wow.
The laser gives this flawless, repeatable structure that, frankly, no human hand can match perfectly every time. But the handwork provides that irreplaceable texture, the soul. That combination, it makes pieces totally unique. And, well, exponentially expensive to produce, too.
I see. Yeah, it needs two completely different, very high-level skill sets. That intersection is where the value just shoots up. And you mentioned sustainability playing a role here, too. How does that fit in?
Yes, absolutely. This is where innovation really starts to serve ethical goals as well. Designers are using tech like 3D printing, often with bio-based polymers or resins, not always for the whole final garment, maybe, but for components, hardware, or even for creating zero-waste prototypes.
Okay. So less waste in the design process itself.
Exactly. By integrating these methods, luxury houses can cut down material waste significantly. They can speed up design iterations, but minimize the environmental hit compared to traditional, often wasteful prototyping. This whole fusion, that's modern luxury. Pieces that honor the past, define the future, and keep an eye on responsibility.
Okay, so the takeaway for you listening. Look for pieces where that conflict, that tension is intentional and visible, like a sculpted wool blazer, but maybe it has subtle metallic threads woven in, or a high-tech silk piece with complex, digitally rendered prints telling a story. It's about finding that deliberate, beautiful clash between old and new design thinking.
You've got it. That's the sweet spot.
All right, so if the first shift is building that intentional quality into the garment's DNA, The evolution of quiet luxury seems to be more about how we intentionally express that quality. Is that right? This brings us to trend two, the evolution of quiet luxury into expressive elegance, moving away from just blending in.
Yeah, exactly. That whole aesthetic, the refined neutrals, the super discreet logos, it dominated for a while. I think consumers felt overwhelmed by the, logo mania of the 2010s. It was like the anti-statement, a
Sure.
reaction.
Yeah.
But the sources show for 2025, that aesthetic is definitely transforming. It's maturing,
Yeah.
becoming much more confident, more expressive.
Okay, because the critique of pure quiet luxury was sometimes, well, it could get a bit boring, a bit generic maybe. How does this new expressive elegance avoid that pitfall, but still stay sophisticated?
That's the key distinction, isn't it? The shift is away from just generic subtlety. It's moving towards what the sources are calling curated daring.
Yeah.
So it moves away from loud logos completely. Instead, the focus is on strong silhouettes, rich textures, and really eye-catching accessories. Things that exude individuality.
Okay.
The focus is on proprietary elements like a unique way a sleeve is cut or a distinct weight or texture to the cashmere, maybe signature hardware that only someone in the know would recognize instantly.
So the validation isn't external, like a big brand name plastered everywhere. It's internal, coming from the piece's actual construction and design details.
Exactly. The confidence becomes the new luxury signifier. You don't need a massive logo to prove the quality or your taste. The wearer feels confident enough in their own style and the inherent quality of the piece that they use fashion as a tool for personal expression, not just signaling wealth. And this actually allows for bolder choices of bright color, maybe a dramatic shoulder, as long as they're curated and intentional within the whole outfit.
Right, it's about sophistication built on balance then. So the way to achieve this shift isn't buying something covered in logos. It's adding one carefully chosen standout element to an otherwise refined wardrobe.
Precisely. Think of a neutral outfit as your canvas. It lets that one intentional striking item really pop and become the focus. Like adding a jewel-tone handbag, maybe a deep emerald green, or choosing sculptural gold jewelry that looks almost like wearable art.
Okay.
Or even an oversized coat, but in a rich, unexpected color like a royal burgundy. That single, confident, intentional piece transforms the whole look. It projects that expressive elegance.
Makes sense. One statement, well chosen. And that idea of strong silhouettes leads us perfectly into the actual physical form of the clothes. Let's talk about how designers are literally sculpting the body. Trend 3, sculptural volume and power shoulders.
Yes, this is a really striking return to more architectural shapes.
Yeah.
We're definitely seeing a revival of those power silhouettes, kind of reminiscent of the 1980s. But, and this is the crucial distinction, the 80s were often about excess. Big shoulders, big hair, big lapels,
Yeah.
often in synthetic fabrics too.
Right. Less dynasty, more refined, minimalist structure somehow. How are designers keeping it modern and sophisticated this time around?
They're injecting this modern minimal edge. The volume isn't just, lots of fabric flapping around. It's structure, often achieved through internal boning or really complex tailoring that's only possible with some of those high-tech materials we mentioned earlier. The key items defining this trend: structured blazers,
Sure.
definitely. Oversized coat, but tailored oversized, not just baggy or slouchy.
Got it. Intentional volume.
And sharply defined shoulders, sometimes even cantilevered, really architectural.
The sources emphasize this trend is hitting both traditional runways and the luxury streetwear market. What does that crossover tell us? What's the significance?
Well, I think it reflects a broader mood, a feeling of empowerment, of confidence. The clothing itself is lending the wearer a sort of physical presence, a strength. By blending elegance with this undeniable visual strength, the look works in multiple contexts. It's suitable for a big business meeting, but it works just as well for sophisticated evening wear. It's a versatile statement of capability, really, projecting authority through form.
Okay, I have to ask, though, about practicality. The sources talk about volume, but doesn't the sheer size of, say, an exaggerated shoulder or a really oversized coat risk overwhelming the person wearing it, especially if they're smaller? How do designers handle that?
That's a really valid point, and the answer comes back to that intentional balance we keep talking about.
Yeah.
The structure of the garment has to be absolutely flawless. That ensures the fabric drapes and moves correctly. It avoids that feeling of, the coat wearing you instead of the other way around. And for you, the consumer, the key is integration, how you style it. If you choose that statement piece, that blazer with the exaggerated shoulders, you have to pair it with sleek, fitted basics elsewhere,
Like what?
like narrow trousers, maybe a silk slip skirt, or a simple fitted turtleneck. something that provides the necessary counterpoint. It lets the sculptural piece really stand out as the intended focus. Balance is everything.
Okay, balance. Makes sense. Avoid volume on
So,
volume.
like,
All right, shifting from form to color now. Trend 4, rich earth tones and jewel color palettes.
it feels like we're maybe collectively a bit tired of that very clinical all-beige minimalism that was everywhere for a few seasons.
Yes, that shift in the foundation colors is one of the clearest aesthetic changes for 2025, I think. The new neutrals for luxury feel richer, deeper, warmer. We're seeing a real focus on earthy browns, deep chocolate tones, camel, of course, and olive green.
Nice.
These shades serve as the foundation. They instantly add this depth and a sort of grounded, expensive feel that sometimes pale beige just lacked. And these deeper foundations then create the perfect backdrop for more dramatic accents, right?
Absolutely. The richness of those earth tones is then complemented by these bold but very sophisticated jewel shades. We're talking saturated emerald green, that deep sapphire blue, a warm royal burgundy.
Those drizzle colors.
And they're chosen not just for shock value, but because they inherently convey this sense of opulence, of seriousness.
So why now? Why is color being used with such intention rather than just being a seasonal splash? What's driving that?
Well, I think it's a critical part of that expressive elegance trend we talked about earlier. Color is being used very calculatedly now to elevate a look to true luxury. For instance, you might see an entirely neutral wool outfit, beautiful in itself, but the lining of the coat, or maybe just the piping on a shirt cuff, is a deep emerald green.
Ah, like a hidden detail.
Exactly. It's a hidden, luxurious detail that signals quality and intentionality. It moves beyond the sometimes restrictive feel of strictly all beige or all gray looks. It allows for this sophisticated warmth.
Okay, so for the listener, the style tip is about intentional color layering. Not clashing colors, but harmony. Like pairing a deep chocolate brown coat with maybe a soft olive sweater, and then adding a pop with a striking sapphire blue scarf.
Yes, exactly that kind of combination. It instantly reads as highly curated, very sophisticated, thoughtful use of color.
Got it. Intentional pops.
Next up, texture. Always crucial for that luxury feel. Trend 5. The return of suede and modern boho chic. I have to admit, I was a bit surprised the sources flagged such a strong comeback for suede. It used to feel more casual, right?
Suede is definitely having a significant moment, yeah. But it's vital we distinguish this new aesthetic. This is not the heavily fringed, unstructured, kind of festival vibe suede from years
It
past.
has a different vibe entirely.
Completely. This suede is being redefined through the lens of high-end design. Precision.
So what defines this modern spin then? What makes it different?
It's the craftsmanship, mainly. We're seeing suede used in really unexpected contexts, like structured skirts, sharply tailored jackets, even elevated matching sets. Matching sets in suede. Interesting.
Yeah, it brings that luxurious texture and warmth, yes, but it's achieved through really refined processes. Often, this suede is laser cut.
Ah, back to the tech again.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Laser cut for perfect precision. It ensures these clean, sharp edges that kind of belie the soft material itself. And the color palette is key too, mostly muted earthy tones. Camel, rich brown, dark terracotta. It keeps that high-end, elevated feel.
Okay. And the source material mentions a suede matching set or maybe a crop jacket being a perfect transitional piece, bridging that gap between casual luxury and sharp design.
Yes, and the key to making that luxury boho blend work, according to the sources, is contrast.
Contrast, how so?
The soft, refined texture of the suede needs something strong to ground it. So you pair it with, say, sculptural gold accessories, or sharp, statement boots, ones with defined heels and strong silhouettes.
I see, soft meets hard.
Exactly. That juxtaposition of soft texture and hard lines is what elevates the whole look. It stops it feeling too relaxed or too, well, conventionally boho. It feels effortless, but in a very expensive, considered way.
Effortless but expensive. The dream.
Okay.
That idea of grounding the look brings us straight to our next point, Trend 7, statement accessories. Our sources are crystal clear on this accessories, not an afterthought anymore. They're the intentional finishing touch. They define the entire aesthetic.
Absolutely. They're the crucial punctuation mark, aren't they? They can transform an otherwise minimal, maybe quiet look into a really powerful fashion statement. And we're seeing accessories embrace that volume trend we talked about earlier with the clothes.
Yes, the reports confirm oversized bags are back big time. Beyond just, the practical relief of being able to carry more than just a lipstick.
Yep.
What do the sources say about the design of these bags?
Structure. They have to be structured. This isn't the return of the, floppy hobo bag from the 2000s.
Okay.
No, these are large structured totes, angular shoulder bags. They often function as a necessary counterbalance to the clean lines of that sculptural tailoring we discussed.
Right, that makes sense visually.
And beyond bags, we really need to highlight sculptural belts. They're acting as a real focal point, drawing the eye, emphasizing the silhouette. Very important this season.
And the jewelry seems to be picking up on that architectural feeling, too.
Oh, completely. The trend is definitely moving away from those fine, delicate layers we saw for a while. Now it's about singular, bold jewelry pieces, often blending high-quality metal with resin. They're architectural, they're bold. They often look like abstract art pieces you can wear.
Cool.
And this is reflected in sunglasses, too. Futuristic shapes, angular or exaggerated geometric frames, adding a distinct structural element right there on the face.
We also have to touch on the continued dominance of that street luxury mix, especially in footwear. That's not going away, is it?
Not at all. Luxury sneakers and boots remain absolutely dominant. They perfectly embody that blend of comfort and style people want now. They've become investment pieces in their own right, haven't they?
Yeah, definitely.
In 2025, these aren't just athletic shoes you throw on. They're meticulously designed items, often integrating those high-tech materials and the craftsmanship we talked about earlier. They complete the overall powerful look, but maintain that necessary utility.
Okay, so for you listening, the actionable style insight here is maybe simplify the focus. Choose one hero accessory per outfit. That structured tote or a cool chain detail belt or those architectural sunglasses, that single piece has to carry the weight of the look.
Exactly. And the rest of the ensemble just acts as its pedestal. Let the accessory be the star.
Okay, let's pivot now, moving from aesthetics to the operational and, importantly, the ethical shifts that are influencing consumer choice. These might be the most profound changes happening in the industry, arguably. Trend 6 is sustainable luxury and ethical fashion innovation, or, as the sources nicely put it, responsible opulence.
Yes, and this represents a massive structural change. It's not just talk anymore. Sustainability is no longer just a marketing angle or some side project. It is absolutely central to the definition of luxury in 2025. Consumer expectation has matured incredibly quickly here. It's moved beyond just wanting something vaguely eco-friendly. Now, people demand verifiable, comprehensive transparency.
What specific demands are luxury consumers making now before they drop serious money on an item?
We want transparency right through the supply chain, ethical sourcing down to the raw material level, and demonstrable lasting quality. The true luxury consumer in 2025 is vetting a brand's actual practices, not just reading their mission statement before they commit to buying.
Right. And how are the big luxury houses actually implementing this at a technical level?
Yeah,
Because that's where the real effort lies, surely.
they're acting decisively, yeah. Often using the latest in material science. We're seeing widespread adoption of next-gen materials, things like mycelium-based leathers grown from mushrooms, basically, and biodegradable.
Wow.
And using advanced techniques to upcycle materials from industrial waste streams, making something beautiful from waste. Furthermore, brands are implementing verifiable carbon-neutral processes. This often involves huge investments in renewable energy infrastructure right at their production facilities.
Achieving true carbon neutrality and transparency in a global luxury supply chain, that must be incredibly difficult, especially when you're sourcing rare or traditional materials from all over the world.
It is a phenomenal undertaking,
Absolutely.
which is exactly why the consumer values it so highly when it's done properly. It requires digital tracking, certification at every single stage. The sources specifically highlight how brands are implementing digital solutions designed to help with circularity, too.
Like what kind of solutions?
Things like virtual fittings. They significantly reduce the need for wasteful physical prototypes being shipped back and forth. And structured, high-end resale programs, where the brand itself authenticates and supports the garment's extended life cycle, keeping it in circulation.
So responsible opulence essentially means that true luxury has to value both the exceptional craftsmanship and the health of the planet. They're intertwined now.
That's the core philosophy, yes. If we connect this back to the bigger picture, the intrinsic value of an item is now directly linked to its production integrity. How it was made matters just as much as how it looks. So the investment tip for you listening here is pretty fundamental. Before you acquire a piece, do a little digging. Investigate the brand's commitment to verifiable sustainability. Look for details on organic fabrics, recycled metals, fully transparent production chains. Making that choice significantly boosts the long-term ethical and actually financial value of your purchase.
Good advice. Due diligence required.
No.
Okay, moving into the purely virtual realm now. Let's discuss Trend 8. Digital luxury. Our source calls this the new frontier. How is technology actually reshaping the whole concept of exclusivity?
Well, the modern luxury consumer is global, right? They're digitally native. They expect and seek out immersive storytelling. Brands are realizing that these digital spaces, they aren't just marketing channels anymore. They are entirely new platforms for creating exclusive products and experiences, and for commerce.
How does this go beyond just, standard online shopping? What does it look like?
It manifests in several key ways. We're seeing these highly immersive virtual fashion weeks now. They completely bypass the geographical and physical limits of traditional runway shows. Suddenly, that exclusivity is accessible globally to anyone with the right access.
Interesting.
And additionally, augmented reality AR shopping and try-on experiences are becoming pretty standard. You can see how something looks on you without leaving home.
Yeah, I've seen some of those.
It enhances consumer confidence, interaction, all without needing physical inventory everywhere.
Let's just quickly break down the acronyms here for anyone listening. NFTs and digital garments. How do they fit into this luxury world?
Right. NFTs, non-fungible tokens, in the luxury context, they mainly serve as these verifiable digital certificates, proof of ownership or authenticity. They can be paired with a physical item, creating a kind of hybrid collectible, or they can exist purely as digital garments themselves. Their value comes from their scarcity and that verifiable proof of origin.
Okay, but why would someone buy a digital garment? Something they can't physically wear out in the real world?
It's about expression, mainly in the social sphere, and it's about collecting. A digital garment lets you wear these hyper-realistic, sometimes physically impossible looks on social media or in virtual worlds in the metaverse.
Oh, okay. Like a digital spin, but for fashion.
Kind of, yeah. It offers this entirely new layer of self-expression. And it's a collector's item. It signals that you're future-forward, highly connected. Many luxury houses are now introducing limited online-only collections that deliberately merge the real and virtual worlds. They're making sure these digital assets are seen as just as exclusive as their physical counterparts.
So digital luxury isn't about replacing the physical product necessarily. It's about offering this highly personalized, collectible, immersive experience that complements it.
Precisely. It redefines exclusivity for the connected consumer. So the style tip here is maybe to actively engage with these things. Explore luxury brands' digital activations, their limited online drops, owning a digital or a hybrid item. It's becoming a clear marker of a future-forward enthusiast, someone who understands that true exclusivity now stretches into the virtual realm.
Fascinating stuff. The definition of ownership is changing.
It really is.
Yeah.
Hashtag RTAG AV, synthesis and application, bringing the knowledge to your wardrobe.
Okay, wow. We've covered 8 massive shifts here, from artisanal fusion and power shoulders, all the way to digital collecting and responsible sourcing. So now for section 4, how do we actually apply all this nuanced knowledge? Trend 9 is from runway to reality, how to wear the trends. How do we make this work in real life?
The core mandate, the absolute key for the sophisticated consumer is balance. Always balance. You have to blend those statement pieces we've talked about. The sculptural blazers, the jewel-toned bags with your timeless foundations, your core wardrobe. The goal is curation. Always. Not costume.
Right. Okay, our sources gave us 4 practical guidelines for translating these trends. Let's walk through them. Guideline number 1, focus on quality over quantity. Seems obvious, but maybe more important than ever.
Absolutely fundamental, especially with that emphasis on intentional luxury. One exceptional piece, but after really thinking about its source, it's craftsmanship. It instantly elevates your entire outfit. It demonstrates superior taste in a way that, a closet full of fast fashion never can.
Yep.
It's the direct opposite approach.
Okay. Guideline number 2, mix modern shapes with classic fabrics.
Yes. Pair those dramatic sculptural forms, the big shoulders, the architectural cuts, with materials that inherently speak of lasting value. Materials that drape beautifully. We're talking high-grade silk, heavy wool, luxurious cashmere. That combination ensures the modern shape feels intentional and timeless, not just temporary or trendy.
Makes sense. Guideline 3, keep the color palette refined, using bold hues only as accents. We touched on this.
Exactly. Use those new, deep neutrals, the rich browns, the olives, as your main canvas. Then employ the bold jewel tones, the emeralds, the sapphires, strictly as intentional accents. Maybe in a shoe, a belt, a piece of jewelry, the lining of a coat. This stops the whole look becoming overwhelming. It ensures maximum sophistication. Less is more with those strong colors.
Right. And finally, guideline number 4, ensure accessories harmonize with the overall look rather than competing with it.
Yes. If you choose that hero accessory, that large structured belt, or those statement architectural sunglasses. The rest of the outfit needs to provide a clean, uncluttered backdrop. The accessory should enhance the look, anchor it. They should reflect that sense of intentional curation that really embodies true luxury now. Don't let everything shout at once.
Good advice. Let one piece sing.
Precisely.
Okay, this brings us neatly to our final overarching theme, Trend 10, the future definition of luxury. After everything we've discussed, it seems abundantly clear from our sources that modern style is just much deeper than surface glamour now.
Oh, indeed. It really is a synthesis of everything we've touched on. Verifiable craftsmanship, proactive sustainability, cutting-edge innovation, and that radical individuality. The overarching theme that seemed to define every single trend we discussed today. It's captured in that final, most powerful definition the source material provides.
Which, just to reiterate for everyone, is
True luxury is not defined by excess, it's defined by intention.
that really does reframe the entire conversation, doesn't it? Every choice a luxury house makes now, from sourcing a specific textile to incorporating a digital element, it's a deliberate, intentional act, an act of design, an act of consumption. And the consumer is now deeply involved in actually vetting that intention, checking the homework almost.
Absolutely. So, whether you find yourself drawn most to the artistry of heritage craftsmanship, or maybe the confidence projected by those sculptural silhouettes, or perhaps the ethical evolution of modern fashion, 2025 is really inviting you to express your most refined, authentic self, and to do it through highly intentional consumption, making conscious choices.
Well, that was a truly detailed and comprehensive journey through the sources, a real deep dive. We've decoded those 9 major trends, the fusion of heritage and tech, quiet luxury growing into expressive elegance, the revival of power shoulders, those rich color palettes, modern suede, responsible opulence, statement accessories taking center stage, and the rise of digital luxury. Quite a list.
And it all seems to circle back to that powerful conclusion, doesn't it? Luxury isn't just about the price tag anymore. It's about how you choose, how you express yourself, and maybe even how you verify the unique identity and integrity of your clothing. Intentionality.
Yeah.
That seems to be the ultimate luxury marker for 2025.
Right. And speaking of intentionality and that consumer expectation of responsible opulence, based on how strongly the source material focused on those 2 ideas, here's the provocative thought we'd like to leave you with this week.
If true luxury is now fundamentally defined by intentionality, and not just by price or by label,
Hmm.
how does the act of knowing the complete source, the sustainability life cycle of a piece, how does that knowledge fundamentally change its perceived long-term value? And subsequently, how might that influence your future purchasing choices?
Something profound to mull over, definitely, as you maybe curate your next investment piece. Thank you so much for joining us for this deep dive into the defining intentional trends of luxury fashion for 2025. We really hope you feel fully equipped now to apply this new comprehensive understanding of modern opulence moving forward.